Hey, it's Mindset Explosion on episode 19, season 4. In this episode, I'm talking about 3 simple rules for setting boundaries and how we can use them to just better our peace of mind, our whole mindset, and our mental health and everything else. Um, I'm going to keep this one as short as I can because I just want to keep it as simple as what it says there. 3 simple rules for setting boundaries, basically. But if you have got any comments, please share them. It's always good to put them in the box if there's boundaries that you need to set. Well, I hope this is going to help a little bit in how to set them, or just in what can happen once you have set them. So when you Google it, I just did a quick Google actually. So defining boundaries is a process of determining what behavior you will accept from others and what behavior you will not. So boundaries include physical boundaries, emotional, and things like that. So obviously physical ones can be like our personal space. Emotional is what you're prepared to accept and not accept from people around us. But I really want to kind of, like I said, keep that simple and understand is that we set boundaries. It is for our well-being. It's for our peace of mind. It's so that we're not feeling overwhelmed or anything that's negative, basically. And also understanding what the boundaries that we are prepared to accept that are good for us, because everything's like a yin and yang, and we gotta have balance, right? So number one, boundaries are for your well-being, peace of mind, and it's just literally for your comfort and for the standard of living that you want. Okay, so it's understanding what are you prepared to accept and what are you simply just not going to accept whatsoever. So number two, the boundaries, they're not really for other people. I heard this, I think it was maybe a month ago, and I thought, you know what, that makes so much sense. So when we set a boundary, it's not for other people. They're actually for ourselves. It's a boundary that we are set around us. It's not a boundary that we set around some other person, because we can't really control other people. So what we're saying is, I am not going to accept this. I'm okay with this. So the boundary is actually for you. It's not for anybody else. And I feel when I heard this, it made a lot of sense, and I think it will give us, when we set those boundaries, a better understanding a way some people may behave in a certain way afterwards, and just accepting, what, that boundary is for me. This is for my well-being. This is for my mindset, and this is for my own growth and my own personal development. Okay, and my, I said it, well-being, and again, this we're talking about physical, and we're talking about emotional boundaries that we set. Okay, so they're not for anybody else. They are for us, and it means no one crosses over that. But of course, and at some point, we would have set a boundary for someone, and sometimes they're just quite obvious. Other times they're not so obvious. Sometimes we can clearly define them with somebody. Other times there's just no point, or we can't. So but the point is really that boundary is for you. And when we set that boundary, number 3, not everyone's gonna like that. They're not gonna, accept that you've created this boundary. It may have been different in the past, and this is going to be different for everyone, right? So, and every circumstance is going to be different when you set a boundary for yourself that you don't want maybe a certain person to cross over, or everyone, because it might be just to do with your privacy. So the boundary's there to protect you and your privacy, or your family, or just your own emotional well-being. So, but not everyone is going to like that. Not everyone is going to grasp it, even if you paint it out as a picture and wrote it all out with the rules. Not everyone's going to like that, and people will want to try and sometimes step over, and they're going to get quite cross at you, and that's up to them. And I'm not saying that what they're doing, getting cross about it, is wrong, but it's for us to understand that the boundary is for us, and not everyone's going to like it. And when someone doesn't like it, you have to remind yourself of why you're setting that boundary. And you may have to reinforce it in the worst case scenario. In some situations, you may have to, it may be a police matter, but that boundary is there to protect you and your emotional well-being. So if someone doesn't like it, they don't like it. And it maybe they don't understand it, but you don't always have to explain it 600 million times. It might, I know sometimes people have had to set boundaries just for a recovery period, just to overcome something. I've set boundaries with friends, family, and when things have gone south with people, I had to set that boundary. And sometimes I think I found myself maybe over explaining it, and nothing wrong with that. But when I seen this, it made so much more sense. The boundary wasn't for anybody else. The boundary was for me, my well-being, or my children's well-being, or the business, or my privacy, or anything else like that. So understand, when you set those boundaries, just as a recap, I told you it'd be a short one tonight. It is, you're determining what behavior you're prepared to accept and not accept, both emotionally and physically. Okay. Now, just because it was one way yesterday, so say if it's a relationship, that boundary, when a relationship ends, boundaries, come into place, don't they? Right? You might have been intimate with a person yesterday, but today, no way. So there's now a boundary, and that person may not grasp or understand that or get that, but the boundary's there. So don't be surprised if they don't get it. Okay. And no matter how much you explain it or whatever they try and bargain and everything else with, yes, they're going to be angry at you, and unfortunately, that's just part of it. But go back to the beginning. The boundary is set in place for your peace of mind, your well-being, and for what you want. Okay, but not everyone's going to like it. And that's pretty much it. All right. The boundary is for you, no one else. So have a think. If there's boundaries you feel you got to set today, or you just got to reinforce, or if it's, if you're trying to set a boundary at the moment and it's just been a bit of a struggle, you're caught up in a conflict about it, or remember that is there for you, not for the other person. Okay. Yes, they may try and cross it over, but yes, you just got to reinforce it, and you can't help if they're going to be happy about it or not. It's just the way it is, but it is there for your well-being, your peace of mind. Short one this evening. All right. And if you catch you on the podcast, don't forget to subscribe. Please drop some comments below. Always really helpful. All right. Peace, love. See you later.